If you are a trader who's been trading for a while now, you've definitely experienced this before, and it's when price starts off in your favor, comes back and knocks you out, and then heads straight to your take profit. That is probably one of the most annoying things. Here we go. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Lewis. If this is the first time that you're tuning into my YouTube channel, first things first, I want to thank you for giving me your time. Welcome to the 14th episode of the series 1K to 10K. Make sure you follow me on Instagram. The Instagram has been growing dramatically, and I've been saying that in every video, but it's true. I post daily clips on my Instagram, so make sure you check that out. Thank you for the support on the YouTube channel as well. I can't act like this is not growing. It has been. Thank you so much. In terms of the trading week, I would consider this a good week because I did a lot of things good in terms of my trading plan, but apart from that, I went basically 3 for 2, and I'm not even gonna count it. So I went 2 for 2. The trade on Friday, you'll see, but it was so insignificant that I won't even count it. So I went 2 for 2 this week on actual trades. Friday, I kind of missed my move, so I'll explain it when we get to the actual day, as in Friday. Well, let's get right into the video. I don't want to spend too much time just rambling. Let's head right into the charts. So as you can see, this is how price action ended up moving on the days of the week. All right, so as you can see, this is how price action ended up moving for the days of the week. I was honestly expecting price to come into this fair value gap on the daily, which was created after Monday from this big down candle on last Friday. What I was expecting was that maybe Tuesday and Wednesday we came up into it and then keep heading down towards the higher time frame objective, which is down here, which is the previous year low. I believe we're still gonna head down there. It's just a matter of time because it's gonna take a little bit to get up there. Obviously there's more objectives in the premium end that price could reach for later on, but as of right now, I am still bearish on Euro USD since the dollar is bullish. Monday and Tuesday were pretty indecisive days, but ended up both being down close candles. Wednesday was a pretty big up close candle that ended up going back into the sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency. As you can see, price was inefficiently delivered in this range from the low of this candle to the high of this candle, as you can see right here. So I was expecting price to come into it and then keep going down, and that is exactly what it ended up doing. What ended up catching me a bit off guard was Friday. As you can see, I thought Friday we were just gonna open, go up a bit since there was a 4-hour fair value gap right here, which price could have just got into and then continued to go all the way down. But as you can see, there was other plans. Hopefully for next week we have all these equal lows, and that's maybe what price is going to be targeting next week, since we have gone into this sell side imbalance and respected it as well, with price staying in the bottom end of the fair value gap. Forget about the wicks, the bodies is what tells the story. But let's head right into the actual trading days. It was an interesting trading week this week. So there was news on Monday, and that is the only reason why I decided to take a trade, as you can see right here. So yeah, I took this trade off of the 5-minute. There was news coming out at 8:30, which was this big candle right here. So I'll explain exactly what I saw. We came out of Asia, swept the buy side liquidity of Asia in London, and then started to consolidate for the rest of the morning, up to coming up at 7:10 and sweeping buy side liquidity by about 1 point, if I'm not mistaken. Right here, as you can see, buy side liquidity from London was taken and then breaking down, going towards the sell side of London. So this is the trade that I ended up taking. As you can see, it is almost a 7-to-1 risk to reward ratio, and what I ended up seeing was this. Like I said, we had come out of Asia and swept buy side in London, then consolidated for the rest of the morning. At about 7:10, we ended up going up and sweeping buy side liquidity from the high of London. As you can see, pay attention up here to this area up here where it says high. The high of London was 6649, and the candle high that ended up sweeping buy side in the New York kill zone was 6652. So as you can see, buy side liquidity was definitely taken. We had formed this order block after sweeping liquidity and breaking down. We left a fair value gap right here, which is what I entered off of, and price did come up and touch into this bearish order block, but stayed just below the bottom quadrant of the order block and then just melted down. I was actually targeting the lows of the central bank dealers range, which was this low right here, but price decided to just come all the way back up, filling in that big void. So what I did was just take my profits below the lows of Asia and left the runner, and then once it started coming back up, I got out of it because I thought that price was going to come back up and sweep these two equal highs. So I said, let me just get out of it. Once I took my first profit, I moved my stop loss to break even, so risk was off the table either way, but I decided to get out about here because I thought price was going to come up and sweep these two equal highs up here that were inside of a higher time frame sell side imbalance. I believe it was a 1 hour. So yeah, that was the trade. I should have gotten out when we were down here, but I thought we were going to come down and at least sweep the lows of this area, which left way too clean lows for down here, which is just engineering liquidity, and ended up coming up. But honestly, if I would have had a safer stop, for example, above above this high, it would have still been a 2-to-1, and I could have easily targeted these lows down here, which was the low from Friday. It would have been a 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio, and I just would have been in the trade a bit longer. But I took what I got that day and I ran with it. Can't be too greedy. I've been trying to not be too greedy and take my profits at logical levels. And that is something that I struggled with last week towards the end of the week. Even though I had a very good week last week, I found myself not taking profits at logical levels, which is part of my plan. So I was breaking the rules of my trading plan, which is a big no-no in my books. But either way, let's just move on to Tuesday. So this is the trade that I took on Tuesday, and this is exactly what I was thinking. This right here on Tuesday is an example of you can do everything right according to your trading plan, and if the market just has a different idea, you will lose. I did nothing wrong in this trade, but I just ended up losing, and I'll explain exactly why I believed I did everything that I was supposed to do, which was part of my trading plan. So I came into Tuesday knowing that we had these equal highs up here, which just had liquidity sitting on top of, plus we had the higher time frame daily fair value gap up here, which also had a 1 hour sell side imbalance. So I thought for sure that we were going to end up coming up into the daily sell side imbalance and then heading down for the expansion for the rest of the week, since we are bearish on the higher time frames such as the weekly and the monthly, plus the dollar being bullish. Like I said, another confirmation that we were going to go up was coming out of Asia. We ended up sweeping sell side in Asia and then just had momentum up with a market structure shift right here. So I was very confident in taking this trade on top of taking a breaker on the 15-minute, which I thought was gonna just send price flying, but I wasn't very sure that I was gonna go down, and I knew there was news on this day as well. So what I ended up doing was I ended up entering once we entered into this fair value gap right here. You can see once we entered this fair value gap, that's when I took my buy position, and I set my stop loss at the bottom of the fair value gap, since I thought price was not gonna go any lower than that, and we were destined to reach for, like I said, the higher time frame sell side imbalance and the equal highs from Monday. And as soon as I placed my order, price didn't take too long to expand. And if I'm being very honest, like I said, try not to be greedy. I could have took profit above this high, which had buy side liquidity. I could have easily took profits above there and then left part of my position to go up all the way. But like I said, I did everything right according to my trading plan, and price just reversed on me and ended up going lower for the rest of the day. So I can't really be upset at it because I followed every rule of my trading plan except for maybe taking liquidity above this high. With all the confluences that we had in price from Monday and how we ended up starting out the session in London, I could have sworn that price was gonna go up, and I was very confident when I took this trade. So I wasn't really mad that I ended up losing because I followed everything that I was supposed to do. Yeah, that's what happened on Tuesday. Let's move on now to Wednesday, because Wednesday was extremely interesting. All right, so this is what happened on Wednesday. Like I said, Wednesday was extremely interesting because Wednesday, one of the things that is probably the most annoying things that happen in trading happened to me on Wednesday. Let me just show you what I mean by that. And if you are a trader who's been trading for a while now, you've definitely experienced this before, and it's when price starts off in your favor, comes back and knocks you out, and then heads straight to your take profit. That is probably one of the most annoying things. But I believe that I had a unicorn model form with the high of Asia, the low in London, and price breaking through that also in London. So I said, okay, the breaker is right here. This is the breaker block. This could also be the breaker block, honestly, with a high, low, higher high. This area right here is extremely sensitive. That's what I was thinking. I took my long position right here, and I set my stop loss right below the breaker block, which is usually a safe spot to keep your stop loss. As you can see, price reacted off of that for the breaker and started going up, came down a couple times, which I should have noticed was just price engineering liquidity. Honestly, went up in my favor, and once we started going up right here, I thought, oh yeah, we're good. I'm gonna come up and let me just target the daily imbalance low and just be with it, which would have been a 12R risk to reward ratio, and price just ended up sweeping the buy side liquidity above this consolidation right here, coming back down, sweeping the sell side and knocking me out of the trade, and then just going straight to my take profit later on. And that is probably one of the most annoying things that could happen in trading. So let me know if this has happened to you before in the comments, because I know that it is extremely frustrating. I believe that I had multiple entries after that where I could have entered, just seeing off of the reaction of this candle right here, the one that ended up taking me out. I could have easily bought in at the close of this candle since it reacted so sensitive off of these lows right here. So I don't know, I was just not really feeling it because it had taken me out there, and I believe I was just doing something. But at the same time, there was another opportunity later in the afternoon that I could have took advantage of. It was this right here, could have entered there, set my low at the bottom of the fair value gap, and my take profit would have been the same target that I had before, and it would have been a 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio, which would have, you know, like I said, got me this trade. One of the most annoying things, like I said, please let me know in the comments if you experienced this before. Price also went below the New York True Open that day twice, so that is another confluence on why I could have entered at the close of this candle. But like I said, this is kind of a unicorn model as well, with the fair value gap right here and the breaker, but price just ended up taking me out. It was a weird consolidating day, can't be really too upset about it. But let's move on to Thursday, which I ended up winning this trade. So this is the trade that I ended up taking on Thursday, as I thought was gonna end up happening on Thursday, with Thursday being the reversal day and price already meeting the objective of getting into this sell side imbalance on the higher time frame. These were my thoughts coming into the trade. On Thursday. So we had swept the low, we had swept liquidity in Asia, as you can see right here below these lows, and then came all the way up in London, sweeping the high of Asia. So those are two sweep of liquidities, and this is the dealing rates that I was looking at coming into New York. So once we were in New York, I was waiting to see if we had any manipulation candles, since there was no news. And as you can see, we had these two manipulation candles go up. We had these two manipulation candles coming out at 7:30 and 7:45, which also took price above the New York True Open at 7:30. So I actually took it off the 5-minute. But as you can see, we had came up above the New York True Open and then displaced on the way down. I had it in my mind already that since we had met the weekly objective, that price was going to reverse on Thursday, which is the reversal day. And with price being above the New York True Open and in this fair value gap, that's just perfect order flow in my opinion. And then price just ended up going down towards my target, which was the -2 on the fib, honestly, and then the bottom of a 1-hour fair value gap. I took half of my position there and then left the runner to the bottom. Once we got close to the -4 on the fib and started coming back up, I got out of my position fully. But I just didn't like how price action was printing. It was extremely choppy, as you can see, with not a very clear direction, but ended up being a 4-to-1 risk to reward ratio. Yeah, it was a winning trade, and I honestly could have left my runner going down to this imbalance, because I had an idea of price actually coming down to this low, and that was my target, which ended up, you know, happening in the Asian session. But I just got out of the trade because I didn't like the way price was printing here, and it was starting to come back up, which is just, as you can see, a market maker sell model, with this being another leg of reaccumulation before distributing again. That is just what I ended up seeing in the fair value gap that I entered off of. Price didn't stay too long, but I could have just honestly held, and it would have played out and hit my take profit. That was actually at the bottom of this low right here from Wednesday. But as you can see, price ended up going a lot further down than that, and filling in these imbalances down here in Asia. But then Friday just ended up going up, being something that I wasn't really expecting on Friday. But let's just move on to Friday. The trade that I took today on Friday was not this trade. I actually ended up missing this trade. I was watching price right here on the 1-minute chart. I'm trying to, you know, master ICT, so getting into the 1 minute, I let ICT get into my head. I was watching his live stream from yesterday, and he was talking about sweep of liquidity, you know, the ICT 2022 model. So we had the sweep of liquidity right here. We left a tiny small fair value gap, and I thought price was going to end up melting because I was bearish either way. I was not expecting it to be a buy day on Friday, but you know, Friday has a mind of his own, and I was targeting the lows of Asia, which were, you know, down here, which would have been a crazy RR, but it just didn't play out. And it was such a tiny small stop that it was just insignificant. So that's why I'm really not counting today. But I was watching this and I missed my entry because I honestly thought price was going to come down a bit lower into the breaker block. As you can see, this is the breaker block right here, but it literally got it to the tick, to the literal tick. It literally got it to the tick. As you can see, this is the breaker block on the 5-minute. Look over here, the high of this candle, look up here, the high of this candle was 6587. The bottom of this candle, 6587. So it literally got it to the tick and then just reacted straight off of it. I could have had my take profit. I was going to take profit above this high, and then if I'm being completely honest, I was targeting this line right here, which was the previous day high. So I thought maybe price is going to go up there right away, but I missed this entry, and yeah, I could have got back the little tiny amount that I ended up losing and then some from the earlier trade, which I believe I just got in extremely early because, like I said, ICT 2022 model is pretty simple. It's a basic model. What is it? What really is it? It's a sweep of liquidity, which we had done, swept liquidity above these highs, a fair value gap, which is right there, and then a market structure shift. But we did not have a market structure shift, and I got in just too early. early, and I obviously noted that down. I took accountability for it, but yeah, I just had to take accountability for it, and I ended up missing my actual trade, which kind of got me upset a bit, but I'm not too mad about it because it was a very good learning experience. I spent the whole morning today just watching price on the 1 minute chart. I'm just trying to get more repetitions on that time frame so that I can have tighter stops once I really understand this and master this fully. But as of right now, I'm a student of the game, and that was the trade. It was a 2R, and I probably would have got out at the 2R because it was Friday, and Friday is a little weird to me, so that's why I'm spending my Fridays just watching price. But this has been my trading week. I really don't have much to say this week. I had a decent trading week, as you can see. I won my trade on Monday. Tuesday, I did everything in my trading plan, but price just had a different idea. Wednesday, some bullshit. As you can see, went in my favor, reverse, took me out, and then went straight to my take profit, which is probably one of the most frustrating things as a trader that can happen to you. Thursday, I ended up winning my trade, and then today, Friday, I could have had another winning trade, but I missed my entry. But yeah, this has been the video. Thank you so much for watching the 14th installment of this series. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, leave a comment, and let me know, like I said, how your trading journey is going, and if you've experienced what I just said on Wednesday, if you experienced what I just experienced on Wednesday, leave that down in the comments as well. I'm gonna master this, man. Every day that I continue to get better at trading, I fall more and more in love with it, and I am putting in the work, and the accountability is really helping me. I don't see these losses as losses. Like I said, the point of this whole series, if you're new here, is for me to really master trading. Trading is an amazing skill that once learned, the capital just flows in. If you have a good track record, a proven track record, you could, one, go for funded, two, you could go for private equity and get money from people who will happily invest with you if they see a good track record and know that you're a responsible person. All you need is the skill, really. But thank you so much. Thank God for the opportunity of me just being able to make this video. I'm gonna master trading because that is just the type of person I am. That's enough said. Make sure you tune back in next week for another weekly analysis and a recap of my trade week. Let's just see how it's going, because every week I just believe that I'm getting better with a bunch of experience, and that is really all I need. I have a very good grasp on my model and what I like to see in the charts, and the only thing that's left is experience, and there's no way that I can really expedite that. That is just me submitting the time and watching candles print basically for as long as possible. But like I said, thank you so much once again, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out.